So you want to date, but you don't want to be on a dating app? I've got good news for you. You don't have to be on a dating app to date, even in 2026. Yesterday, I got a text message from a good friend of mine who said that she wants to start practicing dating, but she hasn't had a good experience being on the apps in the past, and she just didn't feel like going back on the apps. And I am one to always say about the apps that they are a tool and they can be useful, but there's a lot of downsides to the apps, which I won't get into now. Let's just talk about the upsides of meeting people in person and how you can start to do that right away. So, the first thing that's most important is to adopt what I call the meet cute mindset. This might sound really simple, and it is, but it's powerful. And that is really the fundamental belief that every time you leave your house, you have the potential to meet someone special. So if you were to start to say that to yourself, to write it down someplace where you can look at it every day, every time I leave the house, I have the potential to meet someone special, then how might that change how you show up in the world? Because the first thing that you want to do is you want to be open to serendipity. You want to be open to the happy accidents that bring you together with other people, which is always the case, even if you're on a dating app and you meet someone on a dating app and you fall in love, it's still serendipitous, right? You found each other, you happen to be on that app, you happen to, do one more swipe, you happen to, just reactivate the app the day before that person was planning on deleting it, whatever, right? So serendipity is always involved. And that is absolutely the case when it comes to meeting people in person. Sometimes you are just going to the grocery store. Sometimes you're going to a friend's baby shower. Sometimes you're going to a conference. Sometimes you're walking down the street and you wind up bumping into somebody and there's a connection, and that can be the start of a really beautiful relationship. So, when you want to be intentional about that, in addition to adopting the meet cute mindset, which is really something that I want you to take with you every day as you're going about your life, thinking again about how that changes how you show up. Are you more able to say hi? Are you more likely to smile, start a conversation, to give a compliment, to just be noticing who is around you, who might be noticing you, looking for those opportunities? Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing is to be intentional about actually going to different types of social events. And this is everything from going to dating events in your city, which you can search online to see what's available. This could be speed dating, this can be mixers. There's all kinds of new events that are popping up that are more interesting, that are more interactive, a little bit less awkward. I host a dating game on occasion that's all about bringing people together to have a good experience, even if you don't make a match. And I'm not the only person who's doing events like that. But when you are going to those events, then you have the benefit of knowing that all the people who are there are also there to potentially meet someone. Maybe you make a friend, maybe you meet a partner, but it's really good practice. Speed dating in particular is very good practice in terms of just having to sit down across from multiple people, have a conversation, and really I encourage you to have fun with speed dating if you do that, and to really just think about, "Okay, how can I make the most of these interactions? Like, how quickly can I make a connection with another person, even if it doesn't go anywhere beyond this, few minutes that we have together?" So dating events, that's a big bucket that I encourage you to explore. But then there's also non-dating events that are just social events. And that could be anything from your alumni association and meeting up for the game on Sunday, or it could be going to a professional mixer where it's a networking event and maybe some people are there only for professional reasons, but there's also people who wherever people gather, there is the potential to meet someone special, right? So looking at those mixers, maybe if you're somebody who's into sports and you've been thinking about joining a league, or you've been thinking about trying pickleball, or you've always wanted to bowl, or you've always wanted to learn how to knit. So you want to go take a knitting class, you want to take a cooking class. I heard about a woman years ago who she was single and she wanted to meet a man, and she actually decided to host a cooking class that was cooking for bachelors. So it was a class to teach single men how to cook for themselves, which was a pretty brilliant idea for her, being somebody who was looking to meet a single man. And I do believe that she was successful in her strategy there. I want you to think out of the box. What is the intersection of something that I might be interested in doing or I enjoy doing, and how can I make that more social? And also, where there's an opportunity for social interaction. Also, knowing that sometimes you go to an event and you make a new friend, or you meet somebody who tells you about another event or an opening at a gallery or this or that, and you say, oh, okay. And then, 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, that's that restaurant or that's that gallery that that person told me about. Let me stop by. Serendipity, this is how it works, right? And maybe you go in there and maybe you meet someone special, right? Because that is really how it works. So I really want to encourage you, especially if you're watching this in May of 2026, in the northern hemisphere. It's springtime, summer is coming, people are getting more social, there's more opportunities to get out and to do things, and I really want to encourage you to take advantage of that, because the good news about dating apps being at a place where people are very frustrated by them is that there are a lot more people who are open to being open to meeting people in person. And I think it's an excellent time to capitalize on that. And last but not least, also let your friends know, let the people in your life know that you are ready to meet people, that you're ready to go on dates, and you're ready to do it in person, and you want to meet people in person, and you want to meet people through friends, and you want to take a break from the apps. And not only are you practicing vulnerability, but you're also letting people know that you're open to invitations. And maybe you'll have friends who say, oh, well, then you should come with me to this thing that I'm going to. Or, well, actually, there's this really cool person who started at my job and I think they're single, and maybe like we should all go out to get drinks. So enlist the people in your life to help you. Dating can be such an isolating experience, and it doesn't have to be, right? And so the ways that we can do these things more communally might take more effort, but it is so, so worth it. And of course, if you are interested in getting some one-on-one help on your love journey, some coaching from me, please reach out. My contact info is all in the bio, the descriptions. You can always send an email to info@francescahogi.com to learn more. And if you are new here, please make sure that you subscribe, that you are commenting, letting me know which are the videos that you like, what do you want to hear from me, and be sure to hold on, because each week I end each video with what I call a heart work question, which is a question for you to go deeper into this week's video. So your heart work is coming up right now.